The hilltop was peaceful again. Over at the pine tree, Pellis the dragon dozed under the golden fleece as if nothing had happened. "I'm sorry," Annabeth told me. I should get back. I'll keep in touch." "Listen, Annabeth." I thought about Mount St. Helens, Calypso's Island, Luke and Rachel Elizabeth Dare, and how suddenly everything had gotten so complicated. I wanted to tell Annabeth that I really didn't want to be so distant from her. Then Argus honked the horn down at the end of the road, and I lost my chance. "You better get going," Annabeth said. "Take care, Seaweed Brain." She jogged down the hill. I watched her until she reached the cabins. She didn't look back once. 2 days later was my birthday. I never advertised the date because it always fell right after camp, so none of the camp friends could actually come, and I didn't have many mortal friends. Besides, getting older didn't seem like anything to celebrate since I'd gotten into the big prophecy about me destroying or saving the world when I turned 16. Now I was turning 15. I was running out of time. My mom threw me a small party at our apartment. Paul Blofus came over, but that was okay because Chiron had manipulated the mist to convince everyone at Goad High that I had nothing to do with the band room explosion. Now Paul and the other witnesses were convinced that Kelly had been a crazy, firebomb-throwing cheerleader, while I had simply been an innocent bystander who panicked and ran away from the scene. I would still be allowed to start as a freshman at Goad next month. If I wanted to keep my record of getting kicked out of high school every year, I'd have to try harder. Tyson came to my party too, and my mom baked 2 extra blue cakes just for him. While Tyson helped my mom blow up party balloons, Paul Blofus asked me to help him in the kitchen. "We're pouring punch," he said. "I hear your mom signed you up for driver's ed this fall." "Yeah, it's cool. I can't wait." Seriously, I'd been excited about getting my license forever, but I guess my heart just wasn't in it anymore, and Paul could tell. In a weird way, he reminded me of Chiron sometimes, how he could look at you and actually see your thoughts. I guess it was that teacher aura. "You've had a rough summer," he said. "I'm guessing you lost someone important and girl trouble?" I stared at him. "How did you know that? Did my mom—" He held up his hands. "Your mom didn't say a thing, and I won't pry. I just know there's something unusual about you, Percy. You've got a lot going on I can't figure. But I was also 15 once, and I'm just guessing from your expression. Well, you've had a rough time." I nodded. I'd promised my mom I would tell Paul the truth about me, but now didn't seem the time. Not yet. "I lost a couple of friends at camp that I go to," I said. "I mean, not close friends, but still." "I'm sorry." "Yeah, and I guess the girl stuff." "Here." Paul handed me some punch. "To your 15th birthday and a better year to come." We tapped our paper cups together and drank. "Percy, I feel kind of bad giving you one more thing to think about," Paul said. "But I want to ask you something." "Yeah?" "Girl stuff?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Your mom," Paul said. "I'm thinking about proposing to her." I almost dropped my cup. "You mean marrying her? You and her?" "Well, that's the general idea. Would that be okay with you?" "You're asking my permission?" Paul scratched his beard. "I don't know if it's permission so much, but she's your mother, and I know you've gone through a lot. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't talk to you about it first, man to man." "Man to man," I repeated. It sounded strange saying that. I thought about Paul and my mom, how she smiled and laughed more whenever he was around, and how Paul had gone out of his way to get me into high school. I found myself saying, "I think it's a great idea, Paul. Go for it." He smiled really wide then. "Cheers, Percy. Let's join the party." I was just getting ready to blow out the candles when the doorbell rang. My mom frowned. "Who could that be?" It was weird because our new building had a doorman, but he hadn't called up or anything. My mom opened the door and gasped. It was my dad. He was wearing Bermuda shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and Birkenstocks like he usually does. His black beard was neatly trimmed and his sea green eyes twinkled. He wore a battered cap decorated with fishing lures. It said Neptune's Lucky Fishing Hat. "Plus," my mom stopped herself. She was blushing right to the roots of her hair. Hello?" "Hello, Sally," Poseidon said. "You look as beautiful as ever. May I come in?" My mom made a squeaking sound that might have been either yes or help. Poseidon took it as a yes and came in. Paul was looking back and forth between us trying to read our expressions. Finally, he stepped forward. "Hi, I'm Paul Blofus.